Yo, everybody, what's good? It's Tuesday night. It's your boys. It's Flyers Talk A to D. Tonight we are talking Flyers Oilers preview tomorrow night, 7:30 at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. We're also going to talk tonight. Sean Couturier had some interesting conversation, or at least talking points, in a post game about teammate Matvey Michkov. We're going to discuss that, what was said, how it should be interpreted. Did the media twist it like they usually twist everything else? All that and more. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. It is time to go talk some puck. Let's go start the conversation.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of Flyers Talk A2D right here on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Sassuti, along with the broken one, Rob Povia.
Hey, fam, what's going on?
And as you see over there, the Darkwing, Brian Daly.
You went out of order.
I did. I did.
I know how you are.
To be fair, though, we are also in a different spot on the screen, as you can tell as well. Anyway,
yeah, I don't know
we are. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Very good question. This whole thing is out of order.
It really is tonight.
Anyway, we are brought to you by.
Out of order. You're out of order. This whole courtroom's out of order.
We are brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, the doc, Dr. Paul Vidal. If you have any aches and pains that are bothering you, hit up the doc, and you can visit him in either Cherry Hill or Burlington, New Jersey, after you make an appointment at www.specializedphysicaltherapy.com. After a couple of sessions with them, you'll feel as good as new. You won't have to worry about those aches and pains anymore, and you'll be back to doing the things you love to do pain-free. The poll question for today that we have for everybody out there in the fam is: the Flyers can really swing momentum in their favor with a big win over the Oilers at home. Agree or disagree? Now, obviously, the Flyers, they have been coming off some wins. They had a strong win against Nashville that was a little rough at the beginning, but they hunkered back down. They got things under control, and they wound up taking charge in that game. And very, very well done. So I will definitely say that this is definitely the type of team that they can get down, but they're never out. And I mean, hell, the game we live reacted to against Montreal, the momentum swung right back into their favor in the third period, or you know it, they're winning the damn thing. So I'm just saying right now, folks, if you are hoping and praying for this team, they're listening. They're listening. And they seem to be able to swing that momentum in their favor. So, with that being said, if they manage to get a big win against Connor McDavid and his Edmonton Oilers, does that truly swing the momentum in their favor with a big win? Gentlemen, do you agree or do you disagree with this poll?
Well, I will say this, Rick Tockett's right in step with you in terms of admiring the resiliency of this group. And that was built upon what was built here initially by Danny B, Keith Jones, and Torts, and now continues to take that next step and showing even further resiliency to putting off a pretty tidy record at this point in the early season. But I'll do an uncharacteristic thing and jump in here, boys. It's a slam dunk agree, because when you're talking about facing the Edmonton Oilers, right, who aren't as high as they normally are in the standings as we've accustomed to, but it is early and they're still got 18 points on the young season. They're a true test. They're a scoring machine. They're scoring dynamo. It's going to be a really big test for this young Flyer squad, a young Flyer squad that has given up the second fewest goals in the NHL, showing that defensive proclivity that Tocchet showed it with his team in Vancouver, bringing that system over here to Philadelphia. So I think this is a good benchmark game. I love that it's at home, right? And you can really fire up a crowd, right? That despite a pretty good start to the season, Brian, people don't seem satisfied.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, yeah, I wavered a little bit last week just because it's early. It's so early in the season, and there's still so much more story to go in this season. But with the way that they're playing, I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week. Defensively, they've been pretty secure all season long. Vladar's playing really strong in net right now. But Sam Ersson does need to pick up his end of the slack, but I mean, he looked better against. I believe he played Ottawa. He did look a little bit better at that shaky first period, but I mean, to the poll, I wholeheartedly agree. This is would be such a huge win for them, especially being one of the stronger defensive teams in the league this year. Depending on who's in net, unfortunately, will determine how many goals are given up in a game. But I mean, for the most part, they've been really sound defensively because of Tocchet's system. A lot of guys are playing really strong two-way hockey. For me, a really good way to get momentum on their side and get this win is staying out of the box. That's something that's been really hard for them this year. They've been undisciplined, especially one of my favorite guys in Trevor Zegras has been he's been a little wiry this year. So they gotta maintain some kind of discipline against this team. Oilers every year have one of the best power plays, and it's because of two guys mainly. But they have so many weapons. You got to stay out of the box, and that could hopefully create some strong momentum as far as being able to play more 5-on-5. Because anytime you're taking 4 or 5 penalties a game, you're playing behind the 8 ball, and it's always going to be harder to climb out of that hole. But for me, get the first goal. But I agree. This could be an absolute massive momentum swing for them if they can beat the Oilers on home ice tomorrow night.
I will say that if they can beat the Oilers, then I mean honestly, that's definitely a massive momentum boost. But I will say I have heard people complain about the Flyers, and it's like, what more do you need from these guys? Like, what do you need from them? Like, yeah, I get it. I understand that this team has been frustrating. I mean, they've been frustrating for a very long time, well past these last few seasons. But it's like, what more do you need from these guys? It's like they're off to a good start. They've been playing strong hockey. They've been resilient. Games that they would have easily lost last year, they've come back in. So it's like, what more do you need from these guys right now? Like, I understand we're all starving for the playoffs. We're all starving for success. I get it. But it's like, can we be satisfied with the small victories just a little bit? Just a little bit. Let's give them a little bit of credit for how resilient they've been and how strong they've been with some of these wins. And they haven't been easy teams that they've beaten. Montreal's not an easy team. Nashville's not an easy team. I mean, come on, let's give a little bit of acknowledgement here.
Yeah, and to your point,
Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie, and to your point, like most of the teams that you need, they're young and upcoming teams too. So it's not like it's not like they're facing a team like Colorado or Edmonton where they're veterans. Like these are teams that are just as hungry as the Flyers are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's something to be said for the fact that a team that isn't allowing themselves to get down on themselves. They're actually just picking the pace up and saying, hey, we can win this. Like the fact that they were able to do that should say something to you, because the last couple of seasons, this was a team that when they got down in a game, there was a certain point where you figured, okay, they're not coming back. Like, it's not that they would give up. It's just that the finish wasn't there and it wasn't working. And now all of a sudden we're seeing some results. What's up, Greg? And now it's like, let's give them some credit for it. Just a little bit. Just a little.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, I I agree to an extent. Like, I mean, they deserve a ton of credit. They are a team that could really go either way this year. They could find their way into a playoff spot or battling for a playoff spot. I mean, I believe they're currently in one, or if not just outside of it. You, they're getting a bit of a grasp on Tockett's system now, and guys are starting to come through. I mean, you still need some guys to step up and start scoring some goals. Guys like TK. As much as I don't really want to throw his name out there because he's still a kid and still learning so much about the game of hockey is Michkov. I mean, obviously you have high standards for some of these guys and they're not performing. So I could understand where some of the frustrations coming in for them. But the thing that we still have to remember, we're not even 15 games in yet. So there's still a lot of hockey left to be played. So there's a lot to be happy about with this team, but there's still a decent amount to kind of be upset with and say, hey, they need to do this better. They need to do that better. We need to rely on this guy more and that guy more.
Right.
But to your point, I agree. There is a lot that this team has shown this year, mainly their resiliency, that a lot of people should be happy about.
Right. Right. No, don't get me wrong. Yeah, and there are a couple of players that I'd like to see do a little bit more, produce a little bit more, step up a little bit more. And there's also some concerning things. I mean, obviously the worry of Sam Urson that was brought up by you, Bry. I totally understand that. Very understandable because Urson, originally it was thought, okay, he's going to be the quote unquote starter of the tandem. And now it's the other way around where it's become more Vladar. By the way, like and subscribe, hit the bell icon. You can't see me right now, but I can see you. And I damn sure want to see you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that bell icon.
I was going to say, he's not John Cena.
No, but apparently, he won the Intercontinental title. He's won every belt now. So, oh, well, he's on his way out the door. So I guess it was only a matter of time, right?
He's only got, 3-4 weeks left, something like that, 5 weeks, something along those lines. But he's a hell of a career.
Yeah.
They're
holding a tournament for who his last opponent will be.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who winds up in that tournament. There's a couple random names I would love to see come back, but we'll see.
Yeah. But back to hockey. Greg's saying we got to stop excusing some of the guys for being young. There's so many young players playing at high levels and scoring goals. We got to start expecting that from our young guys. I agree. There are some that you want to expect some strong play from your young players.
Right.
However, the question is what particular young players are we talking about here? That's the real question. Because there are plenty of young players that are playing real well for the Flyers. And that's really where my question is. It's like, okay, so what ones specifically are we talking about?
Now, Robbie, I'm sure I definitely want to hear your 2 cents on this, because I think you and I might be a little bit on the same wavelength, if not completely. For me, I'm pretty sure he's talking about Mitch Kavdera. I give him this is the last year he gets a pass from me, because this is a kid that's still learning from the KHL, who's never played North American hockey before. It's a very different game. He's always been offense. Now he has to learn to play two-way hockey. He has to learn the defensive side. Because he's playing too much on the defensive side, it's taking away from his offensive capability. So I think he's putting too much into one basket than he did last year. And I think it's taking away from some of his chances on the offensive side. But the other side of it too is not playing 20, 25 minutes a game like some of the other top 6 guys. Right. So, it's, to me, he gets a pass this year. Next year, it's a whole other story. He's 20 years old. Right. That's right. That's it.
Right.
Robbie.
Robbie, go ahead.
In response to Greg's comment, you're gonna be surprised. I agree with Greg. I mean, granted, there's a lot of different levels of development. When you say young, right, there's lots of tiers, right? And you got to expect growing pains. I mean, that comes with the business of a rebuilding team, right? But do you know what's true about all winning teams? They don't make excuses. They work hard. And I'm not worried about Mitchkov. He will work hard and he'll respond well to the comments that Sean Couturier made after the Ottawa Senators game, which we'll play and talk about later on in the show. But yeah, I don't make excuses. You got to work hard. And I don't think Mitchkov is working hard enough or spending enough time in the defensive zone and playing both sides of the puck. He's not cheating as much as anymore, to Couturier's point, but you can't just rest on your laurels of scoring goals. Now, mind you, right, for a sophomore slump, yes, it's not the brilliance that we saw, especially down the stretch, right? But he still has 3 goals. Do you know who the team leader is in goals on the Philadelphia Flyers? It's Travis Konechny with 5, who's really caught up there and is starting to listen to what you're preaching, Brian, right? But overall, this team is not scoring goals at a very large clip. I believe they're like 29th in the league in terms of offensive goals. They're second in the league in goals against, but only a +4 in terms of goal differential with an 8-5-2 record. So, yeah, they do need to pick it up when it comes to goal scoring. But I think if you play both sides of the puck, the goals will come, right? And overall, though, I don't like, and this ties into the original point that I was discussing with Maddie that I wanted to comment on earlier, is that in terms of unrealistic, or, like expecting too much from this team, they're 8-5-2. That's the same record as the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they're currently the second wild card. So yes, Brian, they are in a playoff spot currently right now. So, I mean, overall, I'm encouraged. And then there's a lot of, goal scoring ability, both in terms of talent on this team, as what will come, in future, later on the season or in future years. So there's a lot to be excited about, but tying it all back, because I know I wanted to squeeze a whole bunch of things in there, right, is I don't think you make excuses. You work hard, you spend extra time at the whiteboard after practice, and you get the job done. And this unit seems to be a resilient unit, like we talked about before, that wants to get the job done.
Right. I will say that I think that when it comes to the scoring side of things, Tippett has 5 also, which is very important because Tippett obviously was a big magnifying glass on him. I will say Bobby Brink also. Yep. And Bobby Brink was, he kind of came out of nowhere a couple years back of just like, okay, all right, this kid's got something here and he's showing it. But I will say that there's something to be said for a team that even if they're not scoring at a high rate, if they're getting the wins, you don't have to light the lamp up every 5 minutes. What matters is, do you have more goals when the period is up? Do you have more goals when it's all said and done? Then who gives a shit how many goals you're scoring per game? Who cares? The matter of simple situation. If you're going to win 3-2, you're going to win 3-2. If that's going to be your standard, that's going to be your standard. But you know what? You're still getting the win, aren't you? You're still getting the 2 points and you're still getting the W. I don't care how you do it. Get that W at the end of the day. I don't need you to score 10 goals. I don't need you to score 7 goals. I don't need you to score 8 goals. I just need you to win. You don't have to be the highest scoring team in the league to be successful. You could distribute it. It could be completely distributed. It's like, okay, we've got 3 guys who are currently top the team in goal scoring. It's like, that's fine with me. I don't need one of them to score 30 goals and then everybody else is a mile behind and the only time we're winning is if that person's scoring. It's okay if we evenly distribute it as long as we're getting the W. Amen. That's all that matters to me. So that's how I feel about that. As it comes to the side of things with Mitchkov, again, he's a young kid. Let him develop. And on top of that as well, too, I think in my head, he's, again, got a lot of pressure on himself going into this. And also keep in mind that he's learning a new game, as you were talking about, and he's also learning another aspect of the game, like we were also talking about. These are all added things that need to be considered for Mitchkov. These are all things we're not considering sometimes. We expect him to come here and dominate. It's like, okay, listen, we knew Mitchkov was going to be good. We knew he had the potential to be great. We knew that. But we also had to think, okay, he's not going to come in here like Lindros and start just putting up these fucking record-setting numbers right the fuck out of nowhere. That's not going to happen. You know, it's like, let's give him some time. I mean, a perfect example, like you were saying, Brian, about time out on the ice. A perfect example of this. Look at Macklin Celebrini over in San Jose. Kid is crushing it on a team that sucks for the most part, although they've been getting some surprising wins. At the end of the day, think about what he does. He gets top line minutes, and he's what, 20, 19? Like, he's not even done being a teenager, and yet he's getting top line minutes. So yeah, he's being productive as hell. He has to be. He's getting top line minutes.
Right.
Mitchkov's not.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
the only thing I'll say to that is that he's in a completely different situation than Mitchkov is.
True.
The Flyers were never as bad as people made him out to be.
No.
San Jose is just an absolute train wreck. So
Yeah.
a better opportunity for him to get the top line minutes because he doesn't have anybody to compete with, especially at his position, because the San Jose is so thin there. They needed him.
Yes.
But as far as like I'm okay with not excusing Mitchkov. I am. But at the end of I'm also still of the mindset that I don't give him the excuses because I know how good he is and how good he can be. So yeah, he's got probably put more pressure on himself than anything. But Rob brought up probably the best point. His work ethic isn't going to allow him to be bad for the entire year. His work ethic is he's on that ice busting his ass every day. So it's only going to be a matter of time before he breaks out. And who knows? Maybe the last 2 games have been it for him. So, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, we're not even 15 games into the season yet.
Right. Right. And I mean, let's give it time. Let's give it time. And let's be happy with the small victories that we have. And one of those big small victories is the Flyers have a winning record going into this, where we were kind of worried that maybe they might have another year where they get off to a slow start or what have you. It was a possibility. This is a team that you can't predict. I know that there was that room for, okay, maybe they'll surprise us. I mean, honestly, I feel like they've surprised me, but they surprised me not necessarily with the record, as more of they surprised me with the way they've won. That's how they've been surprising me. At the end of the day, it's like, okay, this team's pretty resilient. This team can actually, you know, when they get down, they're definitely not quitting. They're coming right back and firing right back. It's like, all right, I like that. Let's build off of that. Let's keep that going. Even when we're later on in the season, let's build off of that. Because when the games really start mattering in January and February and March, then it's like, oh shit. Then that's when you're going to find out, okay, who's getting in, who's not getting in. That's when you really start finding out. So,
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, Maddie.
yeah. And I mean, again, I feel like we might be kind of getting into that defeatist mentality a little bit. And I understand why. I mean, it's hard to stay positive when you've seen a team that's been trying to retool and then rebuild for so long that it makes it very hard to be positive when positive things happen. You're just waiting for the disappointment at the other end. And I get that. I absolutely do. But it's like, let's relish in the fact that we got some big wins and we got some big moments there. You know, I mean, hell, the Flyers had to beat the Penguins 3 times in one game, and they still managed to do it. So let that be something to be happy about. Sure, the Penguins did everything in their power to give it to the Flyers, but we still managed to take advantage of that. A lesser team wouldn't have been able to. So Just another example. Just let's be a little positive here. Let's not be negative about these things.
Well, it's really easy to though, Maddie, because despite the success that this team had perennially in the 90s and the early 2000s in terms of being a playoff team every year, it resulted in zero cups. Zero
Yeah.
cups since the 70s. A lot of their fans weren't even a figment of imagination, so so I mean, until you start winning titles, people are going to be negative. They're going to wait for that heartbreak to happen again and again and again. I mean, we're talking about like, and I wanted to work this in somehow into the show because Prism asked an excellent trivia question in one of our YouTube links chats about the last time that both the Flyers, the Blackhawks, and the Anaheim Ducks were all in the playoffs together. Do you know that off the top of your head? Because I didn't. I'll be honest, I thought it was 2005-06, but that was before Kane and Showtime showed up and was around. That was just the Flyers in Anaheim.
So the Flyers, the Ducks, and the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Was it 2008?
Another guess. I immediately went from that from 06 to 08, and no, that was incorrect too. It was 10 years ago, though. 2015-16 season was the last time that all three of those teams were together in the playoffs. Shout out to you, Priz. I did get it eventually. But I mean that's a decade now. And I mean, I know that's a skewed stat because I'm interjecting two other teams, but the point is that this fan base is hungry for not just playoff hockey, but playoff success. And until they see that, you're just going to get the naysayers. But overall, I'm encouraged by what I've seen from this club as they head in Wednesday night to face the Oilers. Shout out to the three kids in the top 5 in points: Bedard, Celebrini, and Carlson. When we're getting close to losing Ovi soon, Sid sooner than later, and Kopitar this year, the league is winning this year. Yeah. They're definitely there's ample shoulders to take that torch for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. And let's not forget about a guy that I think has successfully already taken that torch that we'll be seeing Wednesday night, and one Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers, who, as I stated before, aren't off to the greatest of starts, but are still a strong goal-scoring team. They got 52 goals scored on the season. That's over 3 goals a game. That's 13th in the NHL. But they've got 15 power play goals, which is third most, and they have a 32.61% power play conversion rate, which is third best, and also scored 2 shorties as well. So they come strong. That's 6 among NHL teams. So they come strong with their special teams. Defensively, it's always the bugaboo of Edmonton. They've given up 59 total goals, which is 3.5 a game per game, and their goal differential is -7. So it's definitely going to be a situation of strength versus strength. The Flyers defense, which I didn't think I would be saying that preseason, versus the Edmonton Oilers strong offense. So, it's going to be an interesting matchup.
It will be. It will be. Who's in goal for Edmonton right now?
Stuart Skinner.
Stuart Skinner still in goal? Okay. That's what.
Yeah, they made the mistake of signing him long term.
Well, I mean, this is the same team that kept giving a past his prime Mike Smith every opportunity to be the starter on that team. So, I guess not much has changed over there in Edmonton. I will say, though, I think if the Flyers if they can get a early goal, it might be a really. If they could score first, they might have a really good shot of really hurting Edmonton's chances. Because, yeah, Edmonton has that strong offense, but if the Flyers defense holds true, if they can kind of get the goal scoring started and kind of set the tone in their building, might make it a little hard for Edmonton to get set in their own right at the end of the day. So I think that might be key for the Flyers. I mean, yeah, I know it's easy to say, well, of course you want to score first, but even with a highly powered offensive team like Edmonton, I would have to say, like, if the Flyers can kind of just take that opportunity and score and really rip away any momentum that Edmonton would hope to get going offensively by forcing Edmonton to have to rethink, might help them in terms of, like, okay, as we stand strong defensively and we continue to, get our licks in here offensively and we manage to cash in once or twice, we might be able to hold them off at the end of the day. Now, Mike, it's a tall order to ask for because you've got to deal with McDavid and you got to deal with, everybody. So yeah, it'll be a tall order, but I think the Flyers can do it if they can set the tone early.
I agree. They have to set the tone. You got to get the first goal, maybe the first two. The one thing I will say, I know I said stay out of the box, but the one thing I'm going to tip the hat to, I think Robbie did say it. I know I had to step away for a second, but they have one of the best penalty kills in the league, boys. And to Robbie, I know Robbie did say this. We would not have thought that they would have one of the better defensive cores in the league right now, but fourth ranked in the league as far as penalty kill, like that's going to help a really strong power play that Edmonton has. But you brought up a great point. They have to set the tone early. They have to get the first goal, if not the first two. They got to give themselves some kind of an advantage heading into this game because Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl can change the game like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. Like you said, like both of you said, you both brought up great points. So I'm really just rehashing what you both said.
Yeah. I mean, it's always key to get ahead of Edmonton and not be chasing them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you want to win the penalty battle, right? Because not only do you want to keep their vicious power play off the ice, but the Flyers are picking up steam too. I believe they have 14 power play goals now. I'm going to check this out real quick. I'm sorry. They have 9 power play goals, but still that's to the 15 of Edmonton. They're on the rise in terms of their power play. So if they can play disciplined hockey, start defense first to feed that transition game and that speed game, right? Draw their fair share of penalties. That's a recipe for getting on the score sheet first. And really, setting the tone at home against the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I've seen the over/unders at 6.5, which is pretty large for the NHL because that's how it's been going. I mean, Vladar's been solid in that. Harrison has not really disappointed me. That's been the one area that I expected more out of Harrison coming into this season, and right now, honestly, like once he's healthy, of course, I mean, like Harrison's got to work his way back, or he's working his way back, but Koloslav as well, eventually you're going to see a seeding there, because Koloslav was playing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I give a little shout out to him too, really working on his game and improving himself, so a little shout out to the young pup there, learning the North American game and really getting his feet wet in the North American game. Well, sorry that you went to the game that they lost, Heather.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't think they've won a game in years since I've been there.
Well, let's see. You're just saying cycle the puck and make the McDavid Leon line defend. Yes, good. That is very sound philosophy right there. Force them to have to go to their weakness, not their strength, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for McDavid at least, he's one of the best two-way players in the game. He just knows how to pick his time, and gosh, if he has any kind of sniff of where the pass is going to go, he's gonna jump the pass, and then he's gone, and it's super dangerous. But no, I'm with you. You definitely have to make those guys defend as much as possible. Puck zone time is
Right.
everything in hockey.
So I got to ask you guys this question. So since Priz had brought it up earlier with Celebrini, Bedard, Carlson, all coming into the league, young, hungry, up and coming, we don't really know, like we have an idea of what their roles are going to be and what they're most likely going to be in terms of a player. But as for McDavid and Matthews, we've got an idea of what they are now. So comparing the two generational talents right now to the two generational talents of recent, this is my opinion. I think McDavid is more like Crosby and Matthews is more like Ovechkin. Would you guys agree with that?
Repeat it for me one more time.
In terms of like as their style of play or in terms of how their play is on their team and their roles on as a team, do you feel like McDavid is more like Crosby and Matthews is more like Ovechkin, or would you disagree with that?
No, I like that. I like that comparison because McDavid's not only a goal scorer but a playmaker. And whereas Ovi's a pure goal scorer, and I'm not. Maybe Matthews has a little more playmaking ability, but that's his proclivity as well. What say you, bro?
No, I'm 100% with both of you. I mean, if you look at it this way too, from a completely different angle, how good is Edmonton without McDavid? Just like how good is Pittsburgh without Crosby? Because we're starting to see that maybe Mike Sullivan's coaching record, maybe the Crosby effect, just like some of these other head coaches in the league that have been through Edmonton have had success. Maybe it's a Connor McDavid effect. Same thing with Austin Matthews and Ovi. Both those guys have, their spots where they just pump goals from. So yeah, I mean, I'm not against that at all. I'm in complete agreement. And the other thing too is McDavid and Crosby make everybody on the ice better around them.
Absolutely. And I think it shows in playoff performances. I mean, if you really look at it from the team dynamic, look at how Edmonton has already been to the Stanley Cup Finals twice. Yes, they didn't win them, but they went there twice. Faced the same team too, and damn near won the cup the last time. So there's something to be said about that. Matthews and the Maple Leafs, and yeah, it's not Matthews' fault completely. I'm not going to put that on his shoulders.
Warner. Just kidding.
However, though, Toronto hasn't exactly been thrilling everybody in the playoffs. And you could chalk it up to, yeah, Toronto's cursed or what have you. Or, oh, yeah, they can't find a goaltender to save their sorry asses. Or the team just all around is not structurally built properly. You could say whatever you want, but look at it this way. Everyone says the shortcomings of Edmonton, yet they've been dragged almost single-handedly by McDavid at times. Draisaitl's had his part to play in it too, but dragged into the Stanley Cup Finals twice already. Whereas with Toronto, it's been like, you guys can't even drag yourselves out of the first round.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot right there when you think about it, because if you look at it too, think about how Ovi and Washington struggled for years to get out of just the second round alone. And it wasn't just because they were running into Pittsburgh. They were losing to Rangers. They lost to the Flyers a couple of times, actually once. But the point is, it's like there are times they lost to teams they had no business losing to. It's like, what are you doing? You guys should have been in the finals by now. What the hell are you doing? Meanwhile, Crosby's over here winning 3 Stanley Cups. What the fuck is going on? You know?
Yeah.
Now,
I don't fully blame McDavid for not winning those cups. I mean,
yeah, of course.
Defense and goaltending, we've always claimed that has always been a weakness for Edmonton. But I guess it just goes to show you that maybe as good as he is and as much as he makes everybody better around him, McDavid's not a miracle worker.
Well, yeah, of course.
Maybe Crosby is. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Well, okay.
He has better talent in the net and on the blue line than Edmonton does. So
Right. But I mean, also to be fair as well, I mean, Gretzky didn't win a cup with LA, and he was a big part of them getting to the finals in '93. So I mean, even the great one couldn't single-handedly win a Stanley Cup for a team. So it's like you need some more players, but just looking at it from that perspective, though, you could see like who seems to be the player that's elevating his team more on the ice than the other. And that's not a knock on the talent. Maybe it's the team structure. Maybe it's their way of playing. Maybe it's their role. The point being is I just see the dynamic as different with both sides.
no, for sure, and I definitely think that it's a fair comparison on both guys. To be honest with you, but the one edge I'll give Ovi is he got his cup.
He did eventually
for Matthews, but I also think Matthews is in a terrible situation where I think the organization I don't want to say they don't care about winning, but they're more worried about putting a good product on the ice to bring in money than putting the right product on the ice to go out and win a championship.
Which I could agree with. And I think Toronto's had that problem for a very, very long time. It's been a big issue for them for years. So,
all right. So real quick, Maddie, I don't know if you see the private chat from where you're at, but we'll just say 10 minutes.
All right. Cool.
Talk about Mitchie and Coots.
Sure. Let's do it.
Well, quick prediction for the Oilers game before we move on.
All right. I guess I'll start. I'm going to say, you know what? Positivity is going to still flow through me on this one. Orange and black wins this one. I'm going to say they hold on by the skin of their teeth. They win 4-3.
Yeah, something like mine then.
Oh, you're thinking it's a blowout in Edmonton's favor?
6-4 Edmonton.
Oh, okay. Robbie?
Wow. While I could easily see 6-4, I'll be a homer as well. I think I'm going to go Flyers 4-2 because Oilers aren't playing, not only are they playing poor defensively as per the chorus, but the offense, as scary as it can be, isn't quite firing all cylinders yet at this early point of the season. So maybe we get lucky seeing them early.
Yeah.
4-2 Flyers.
Yeah, I mean, it happened last year. They saw them early, and it worked out in the Flyers' favor on home ice. So, yeah, get it done.
Yeah. All right, then. So now that we got that, and Prism saying Flyers 5-2, Mitchkov hat trick. Ooh, I'd love to see that. All right, I would very much love to see that. All right, so now
hopefully, let's go.
Yeah. So speaking of that, let's talk about it. So Mitchie and good old Coots. So what we got to say, gentlemen?
First off, we got this.
I think he's a great goal scorer and has a lot of skill. I think you just got to find a way to contribute to helping the team win in other ways when you're struggling. You're not always going to be scoring goals every game. So, I thought I've seen improvement in the way he's, not cheating as much and being on the right side of pucks. And, I'm sure it's a little different for him, but, if he sticks to playing, more the right way, I think it's going to be better for the team overall.
Have you sensed a weight off his shoulders a little bit after scoring that goal in Nashville and then tonight as well?
I think so. I think you can tell tonight he was trying to make a lot of plays with the puck, holding on to the puck. So, yeah, I think he's definitely, feeling good about himself.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, first off, I would have to say I'm kind of
honestly, people
Go ahead, Robbie.
People on Twitter have been like, how do you blast one of your young players into the media? What blasting? He's praising him that he's a good goal scorer, but his game's incomplete and there's things he's got to work on. Coots, and they're saying, "Oh, where's the accountability?" And I always hear accountability with Coots saying where his game needs improvement too. So honestly, I think it's just challenging a young player to really work on the defensive side. A player that was forced, to take what he said 4 months off from hockey. Which, you hear that, and that doesn't paint a good picture. It doesn't paint the picture that we're setting here of a hardworking young player. Right. I think some of that was lost in translation, maybe 4 months off the ice, non-hockey related, but still working on conditioning in the gym. Right. You could be in the gym all you want, but you're going to play catch up if you haven't skated in 4 months. So this is what we're seeing, a guy playing catch up, and maybe the 2 goals, is a sign of things to come. Right. The overall game has been lagging, and it's behind last year's brilliance, especially, like I said before, that success that he had down the stretch. And a lot of people, like I said, saying sophomore slump, the best is yet to come.
Oh, agreed. You hit the nail on the head there, Robbie.
I mean, I will say, I think, first off, I want to say I'm surprised that Coots even said anything in that way. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't hold somebody accountable. I'm just surprised he did it when the cameras were on. Because usually players are very tight-lipped when those kind of situations come up. I'm surprised that he actually did say anything that would have been – I'm surprised he gave the media anything to run with. You know what I mean? Like, usually players are a lot more choosy of the words that they use. I'm not saying Coots didn't choose his words. I'm just saying that I'm surprised he said some of the things he said. Usually you don't reveal anything to the media like that. And a case in point, because now obviously he's got to deal with this bullshit. But what I will say is, I don't think Coots is trying to dog Michkov in any way. I think what he's saying is that, like you were saying, Rob, there are things to work on, and that's okay. He's young. Let him work on those things at the end. And if anyone's going to get offended by this, and especially if Michkov was to get offended by this, and I'm not saying he would, if he was to get offended by that, then clearly we got a big prima donna bullshit issue going on, which obviously, if Michkov hasn't responded to anything negative and hasn't said anything about it, then obviously he's not taking this as an attack, and he shouldn't, because it's not.
Quite contrary, Maddie. After these comments were said, right, the next day of practice, after practice, it was Michkov, Couturier, and Tocchet at the whiteboard, drawing plays, right? There, not because he has to be, because he wants to be. And then there was even reports, I think it was Flyers Nitty Gritty, Jamie Baskile, saying that he saw them hanging out off the ice. So honestly, it was a situation that I think you're on to something, Maddie, that maybe normally would have been handled in-house, and the fact that he brought it to the media raised an eyebrow, especially feeding off of, the young Russian saying 4 months off, and then this being said, okay, what is he, trying to weed out a bad egg or things of that nature? No, not at all. Not at all. It's challenging a young man that's willing to be challenged.
Yeah.
Right.
And to Priz's point here, Coots isn't wrong. I said it earlier in the show too. He's a young kid, and it's easy to get distracted as a young kid. You're starting to find some fame. You're starting to become a recognizable talent. Sometimes that can dwell on a player's mind, especially when they get older or when they're young like this, because they don't know how to handle it. So
right.
Coots said nothing wrong. He said he didn't even say anything negative, to be perfectly honest. I don't think he said anything that nobody hasn't noticed yet. Like, he's working on his defensive game. Yeah, so his offensive game is lacking a little bit. He came into the season a little out of shape. Robbie, to your point, you hit the nail on the head. You can work out in the gym all you want, but that doesn't necessarily mean your conditioning is going to be there when the time comes.
It's a go ahead, finish, right?
Constructive criticism. That's all it is he said nothing bad. I'm sure he's probably sat down and had the conversation with Michkov. And again, to Robbie's point, if they're out there on the ice working on stuff together, clearly they've had this conversation. So Coots is being a captain, holding his players accountable, and that's something he needs to do.
Absolutely. And then on top of that as well, I mean, like you were saying, you're young, and Heather's saying, I'm trying to persuade my coworker to be a Flyers fan. Well, hopefully you're successful. But when it comes to Michkov, being young, taking 4 months off the ice, I agree. Bobby Brink getting a hat trick, I could see him pulling it off. But I will say, when it comes to him being young, taking those 4 months off, like you were saying, Bri, like getting distracted and things like that. I mean, he's how old again?
20.
It's like, 20-year-old kid. It's like, listen, when you get some fame in you, you got a little bit of cash in your pocket, and then all of a sudden, you get some pretty girls possibly that want to hang around you, or maybe your friends want to go out and have some fun, and shit like that. It's like, it's easy for that kind of stuff to come into play there. And when you got the money to back it up, it's like, oh yeah, it's very easy. Like you said, Brian, not going to handle it well. Maybe I'm not saying that's what happened, but what I'm saying is it's very possible. It happens in all athletic sports, every single one of them across the board.
And, again, this kid's got a phenomenal work ethic. So it's not like he's gonna be down forever.
Right. And this is a lesson learned. This is a very valuable lesson that he's learned. That's like, okay, I'm not doing that again. I clearly realized that I made a huge mistake not hitting the ice for 4 months. This is him learning a very valuable lesson. He's got to learn it. You got to go through what you got to go through at the end of the day. Sure, I wish he wouldn't have to have learned it this way, but sometimes you got to make a mistake in order to learn from it at the end of the day. And there you go. He's learning from a mistake he made. That's what it is. Simple as that.
And I think some of it's due to injury, with the ankle, but also too, there could be some, image. I mean, there was, like some wild car rides in Dubai, I believe, or something, or whatever the heck that was, that they got in an accident. So, there's a little bit of that. But again, we start to border on that edge of excuses. And you know what? At the end of the day, this kid's going to be measured up to another 19, 20-year-old Russian that's playing in a team we just saw in Montreal, and that's Ivan Demidov. And, so far in his rookie campaign, 13 points, 4 goals, and a +5. So he's obviously playing well, on both sides of the puck. So I mean, at the end of the day, you got to put up or shut up. And I have no fear that this kid can do that. This is a little rocky bump in the road, but again, like we talked about earlier, Maddie, an organization that hasn't seen a cup in so long and has had, a playoff drought of recent, there's going to immediately go to the negative. And in the end, what we've seen in the past 2 games has been encouraging. Let's continue to see more of it, right? If he's playing more defensive side of hockey, I don't need to necessarily see it in the goals. I want to see it in his positioning, because he's been too far out of position sometimes and hanging out his teammates to dry. If I see that improve first, man, the goals will come.
Right. And again, it's only his second year in the league. And for now, we can say, all right, learning a lot fast, making errors in judgment, not thinking about it, and taking it maybe as he should have, and realizing, okay, I need to do better. Now he's learning, okay, take this shit a little bit more seriously. Like, all right, let's do that. If this continues and we see this continue on next year and the year after that, it's like, okay, I'll give you that. Then it's time to get a little worried. But it's only his second year in the league. It's like, let him, like you were saying, Bri, it's like this could be the last year we could say, all right, we'll let you have it this time. But we don't want to see this next year. Let's see you show what you got next year when that comes around. Let's not see here that you took 4 months off and then you're playing catch up when the season begins. We don't want to hear that next year.
Yeah. I mean, I commend Coots for speaking up like that. Like, again, he's holding one of his best talents, best teammates accountable. Like, he's thrown it out to the public. Why?
Yeah,
I don't know. But you know what? I like it because you know what? Maybe it lights the fire under his ass, gets him going. Because
maybe
I know exactly why, Brian. He's saying there are no free rides. I don't care what level of prospect, I don't care what level of player you are here, right? And Tocchet's backed him up. I mean, the captain and the coach really in tow together, right? And it's evident by the time on ice that players get.
Earn it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, hell, think about it this way. Coots should know. How long was it that he struggled? And then he finally found his game again. We thought he was a bust at one point because he struggled for a few years there. And sure enough, he's the captain now. Right. So, yeah.
And let's not forget what we saw from him, TK, and Mitchkoff at the end of last season. Once Mitchkoff's up to speed and he starts earning that ice time, I want to see that pairing again.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let's see if I can find it. Jordan Hall was saying who Mitchkov was with as far as practice goes. It looks like I deleted it, but it looked like it was Zegras and TK maybe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So maybe putting him with the right teammates will get his offense going. But I mean, again, I'm not completely for needing to see him explode offensively because I know that's going to come. I want to see him being more defensively responsible. Because like Coots said, they did catch him cheating quite a few times, which led to a bunch of goals. He's got to get out of that habit. That's KHL stuff. That's not the NHL. He has to work on the two-way game. So for me, again, where Coots is coming from, in my opinion, which is a good place, keep the offensive game going. Keep your foot on the pedal there. Work on the defensive game as your shifts come, but don't not be an offensive powerhouse, which you're known for. Because adding the two-way game, it's going to take a couple years. He's not going to get it down right away. He will still maintain value, and he will still be incredibly impactful for this team if he just keeps putting up the numbers that he put up last year.
Right. And let's also not forget, too, he's been getting assists prior to the 2 goals that he got. So there has been contributions on the score sheet, even if it hasn't been a goal. But with that, that'll do it for this edition of Flyers Talk A2D. We thank everybody for joining us. Yes, Robbie.
Just before you wrap up, Maddie, I didn't give credit with the video. I want to make sure I give credit where credit's due. That video was courtesy of crossingbroad.com as they did a full write-up on Flyers Twitter being in a huff over the comments, so to speak. But the video is complimented of Crossing Broad, as well as all the betting information I gave was compliments of Fox Sports.
Okay, awesome. So with that, we want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you to those establishments for the content. And we hope once again that you guys join us next week. And we hope that you hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell icon so that you get all the notifications from us here for our shows, not just for hockey, but for baseball, football, basketball, wrestling. We got it all here for you. So until next time, we were brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy with the Dr. Paul Vidal. We hope to see you guys next week. And we also hope that you stay safe, you stay healthy out there. From all of us here at a2dradio.com, peace and love, everyone.